Today we're going to be subtracting decimals. Now, I have here listed the steps that we'll need to complete in this order to give us the best chance for success. First thing we need to do is make sure that we make an estimate. This is to guide our answer and will help us at the end of the process. Step 2 would be to line up the decimal points. To go with that, we need to add any zeros as needed. That way that every number has a corresponding number above or below. Then we just subtract as normal. So the same subtraction rules without decimals still apply with decimals. Place the decimal in the answer, and our last step is to go back looking at our answer and compare it to our estimate. If our estimate and our answer seem to match up, then we're good. If not, then we need to go back and check for mistakes. We're going to do a few examples together. Our first one is 6 3/23 minus 4 17/100. Our first step would be to do an estimate. So this is going to be estimated to 6, and 4 17/100 is basically 4. So our estimate will be 6 minus 4, which we know is 2. Now our next step would be to write the problem, lining up our decimal points. Since we've completed our estimate, we lined our decimal points up. We do not need to add any zeros or extra numbers to be able to do this problem. And we just go ahead and follow our basic subtraction rules. Our answer is 2 6/100. Does that match up to my estimate? Sure does. So my final answer is 2 6/100. Let's take our next question. Here we have 9 1/10 minus 4 17/100. Let's first do our estimate. We have 9.1. We'll estimate that to about 9. And 4 17/100, let's go ahead and call that 4. So we will be looking at 9 minus 4, which is 5. So our answer should give us something around 5. Write our problem. Make sure that we line that decimal point up. And we will notice something here. We kind of have this empty space right here. So we need to go ahead and add a 0. If we don't, it's a recipe for disaster. So now that we added that 0, now we can proceed and go ahead and subtract as normal. So we borrow. Trade, we get 3. Oops, I get to borrow some more. Becomes an 8, this becomes a 10. Bring down our decimal point. Wrap it up with 8 minus 4 is 4. And our last thing is to go ahead and compare our estimate and our answer. We estimated it should be around 5. We got 4 93/100. Looks good. Write our answer on the line and go ahead and move on to our final question. Our final question for today is 6 23/100 minus 5 6/10. Estimating be around 6 minus 6. So it looks like our answer is going to be pretty close to 0. All right, let's write our question. Again, it looks like we have an issue here. We need to go ahead and put that 0 in. Now we can just, normal business here. 3 minus 0 is 3. A little bit of borrowing. Bring down that decimal point. We get 63/100, which is pretty close to 0. Makes sense. And our answer is 63/100. So our last step is just to recap. So when we're subtracting decimals, first make sure you do an estimate. Second, when you write the problem, line up those decimal points. Add zeros as needed. You can see how I did that throughout some of our example problems. Make sure that you subtract as normal, following all rules that you would have followed without decimals. Be sure to remember to place the decimal in your answer, and always go back and make sure that your answer and see how it compares to the estimate. Again, it's just a guide to help us make sure that we got the right answer.